Have you ever felt like there's a voice calling out to you not in words, but in moments, in signs, in feelings that transcend logic? You might have dismissed it as coincidence or brushed it off as imagination, but I'm here to tell you this: when God speaks, it's never loud. It's never forceful. It's a whisper, a gentle nudge, a quiet flicker in the depths of your soul. The question is, are you paying attention? You see, God's messages aren't carved in stone or delivered in booming declarations from the heavens. They are woven into the fabric of everyday life, hidden in plain sight, and those who are truly chosen have the eyes to see and the heart to understand. But before you can recognize these divine messages, you must quiet the noise within you. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly listened to the silence? Life has a way of drowning out the sacred. We are so busy chasing achievements, relationships, and distractions that we fail to notice the signs that have been placed along our path. These signs can take many forms: a random stranger saying something that resonates deeply, a recurring dream that feels more real than waking life, or even a sudden shift in your emotions that you can't explain. These are not random occurrences. They are divine breadcrumbs leading you toward your higher purpose.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
One of the clearest signs that you've been chosen is the feeling of being out of place in the world. Have you ever looked around and felt like you don't quite belong? Like there's something deeper calling you that others don't seem to notice? That's because you're not here to blend in. You're here to elevate, to transform, to awaken not just yourself but others around you. This sense of being different isn't a curse, it's a calling. It's God's way of saying, you have a purpose beyond the ordinary. But recognizing this purpose can be a lonely journey. People might not understand you. They might question your choices, your beliefs, your vision. And here's the truth: they're not supposed to understand, because your path was not designed for them. It was designed for you. The question is, do you have the courage to walk it when it feels like the rest of the world is walking the other way? One of the most profound signs that God is speaking to you is the presence of synchronicities in your life. You might notice repeating numbers like 1111 or 444, or you might keep encountering the same symbol, phrase, or concept in unexpected places. These are not accidents. These are divine winks, reminders that you're being guided. But here's the catch: you must act on these signs. They are not just there to comfort you, they are there to move you. I'll give you an example. Imagine you've been seeing the word faith everywhere, in books, in conversations, even on a billboard. It's not just a coincidence. It's God asking you to trust, to let go of your fears and step into the unknown. But how often do we ignore these signs, waiting for something more obvious? How often do we miss the sacred because we're too focused on the mundane? This is where the journey deepens. To truly recognize God's messages, you must cultivate a state of awareness. This means being fully present, not just in your actions, but in your thoughts and emotions. It means noticing the subtle shifts in your energy, the moments when your heart feels light or heavy, the times when something inside you says, pay attention. Let me ask you this: when was the last time you trusted your intuition? Not the voice of fear, not the voice of logic, but that quiet, knowing voice within you that speaks in feelings and instincts. That voice is God's voice. It's the compass He has placed within you to guide you through the chaos of life. And yet so many of us ignore it, choosing instead to follow the noise of the world. Why? The truth is, recognizing God's messages requires faith, not blind faith. but a faith that grows from experience, from seeing how the pieces of your life fit together in ways you couldn't have planned. It's about trusting that even in your challenges, there is a divine purpose. When you start to see your struggles not as obstacles but as lessons, you begin to understand the language of the divine. But this is not an easy path. Being chosen means being tested. It means walking through darkness so you can find the light within you. It means facing your fears, your doubts, your insecurities, and transforming them into wisdom, strength, and compassion. It means asking yourself the hard questions: who am I really? What am I here to do? And am I willing to surrender my ego to fulfill a higher purpose? These questions are not meant to be answered quickly. They are meant to be lived, to be explored with an open heart and a curious mind. And as you walk this path, you will begin to notice more and more signs that you are not alone, that you are guided, that you are loved beyond measure. So I ask you, are you ready to listen? Are you ready to see what has been in front of you all along? When you begin to recognize God's messages, something extraordinary happens. Life starts to align in ways that feel almost magical. People, opportunities, and experiences show up at the perfect time, as if orchestrated by an unseen hand. This is not luck. This is not a coincidence. This is divine alignment, and it's one of the clearest signs that you are a truly chosen one. But alignment doesn't always feel like ease. Sometimes it feels like your world is falling apart. Have you ever experienced a moment when everything you thought was secure suddenly crumbled? A job lost, a relationship ended, a dream shattered. It's in these moments of chaos that God is doing His greatest work. Why? Because sometimes the only way to align you with your purpose is to remove everything that is not meant for you. Think about it. How often do we cling to things that no longer serve us out of fear, out of comfort, out of habit? We hold on to relationships that drain us, jobs that stifle us, beliefs that limit us. And then we wonder why we feel stuck, why life feels heavy, why we can't seem to move forward. The truth is, God cannot fill your hands with blessings if you're too busy holding on to what needs to be released. Ask yourself, what are you holding on to that you know, deep down, is holding you back? Recognizing God's alignment in your life requires trust that even when things don't make sense, they are happening for a reason. It's about seeing the bigger picture, understanding that every detour, every delay, every disappointment is a part of the divine plan. It's about saying, I don't know why this is happening, but I trust that it's leading me to something greater. But how do you know if you're aligned with God's purpose? The answer lies in how you feel. When you are walking the path meant for you, there is a sense of peace, even in the midst of challenges. There is a lightness, a flow, a knowing that you are exactly where you need to be. This doesn't mean life will be easy, but it will feel right. It will feel true. At the same time, being aligned with God's purpose often means stepping out of your comfort zone. It means saying yes to opportunities that scare you, no to things that no longer resonate, and maybe to the unknown. It means trusting that the path will unfold as you walk it, even if you can't see the destination. And here's the most beautiful part: when you align with God's plan, you become a vessel for His love, His wisdom, His light. You begin to inspire others, not through your words, but through your presence. People will notice something different about you, a glow, an energy, a peace that can only come from being connected to the divine. So, I ask you again, are you ready to align with your highest purpose? Are you ready to let go of what no longer serves you and step into the life God has prepared for you? When you fully awaken to the truth that you are chosen, life transforms. It's not just about recognizing God's signs or aligning with His purpose anymore. It's about stepping into the role you were born to play, a messenger of God's love, a light in the darkness, a guide for others who are still lost. This is not an easy path, but it is the most fulfilling one. And the first step is understanding that being chosen doesn't make you better than anyone else, it makes you responsible. Let's pause here and reflect on something profound. What does it mean to carry God's message? Does it mean preaching? Does it mean standing on a pedestal and declaring your truth? No. To live as a messenger of God's love means to embody that love in everything you do. It means showing compassion to the stranger who crosses your path, forgiving the one who wronged you, and lifting up those who have fallen. It means being the kind of person whose presence alone reminds others of their own divinity. But here's the paradox: to be a messenger of God's love, you must first learn to love yourself. How can you pour into others if your own cup is empty? How can you guide others to the light if you're still hiding from your own shadows? This is why the journey of the chosen one always begins with self-discovery. God will show you the parts of yourself that need healing, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Have you ever felt like you're being broken apart? Like your old self is crumbling and you don't know who you are anymore? That's not a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. It's God stripping away the layers of fear, doubt, and ego that have been covering your true self. It's painful, yes, but it's necessary. Because to carry God's message, you must first become the message. Ask yourself, what parts of me am I still hiding from? What pain am I still clinging to? What would happen if I let it go? The truth is, living as a chosen one means walking a path of constant transformation. You will be asked to grow, to stretch, to evolve in ways you never thought possible. You will be asked to step into roles you don't feel ready for, to face challenges that seem insurmountable, and to have faith when everything around you is telling you to give up. And yet, through it all, you will find a strength within you that can only come from God. One of the most powerful lessons you will learn on this journey is that the chosen one is not just a receiver of blessings, but a giver of them. When you recognize that you are chosen, you realize that your life is not just about you. It's about how you can serve, how you can uplift, how you can bring God's light into a world that so desperately needs it. And the beautiful thing is, the more you give, the more you receive. The more love you share, the more love you feel. The more you help others find their purpose, the clearer your own purpose becomes. But don't misunderstand me, this doesn't mean neglecting yourself. It doesn't mean sacrificing your well-being for the sake of others. In fact, one of the most important lessons for the chosen one is learning how to set boundaries. Being chosen doesn't mean saying yes to everyone and everything. It means discerning what is truly aligned with God's will and saying no to what is not. Have you ever felt drained, like you're giving too much and not receiving anything in return? That's a sign that you need to realign. Remember, even Jesus took time to retreat, to pray, to recharge. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and God does not ask you to deplete yourself for the sake of others. He asks you to serve from a place of overflow, from a place of joy, from a place of abundance. So how do you create this overflow? By staying connected to God. By making time every day to pray, to meditate, to listen to His voice. By surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, inspire you, and remind you of your purpose. By taking care of your body, your mind, and your spirit. The more you nurture your connection with the divine, the more you will have to give. And here's the most beautiful part: when you live as a chosen one, you become a living sign of God's messages. People will see your light and be drawn to it. They will come to you not because of what you say, but because of who you are. Your presence alone will remind them that they, too, are connected to something greater. But this role comes with challenges. Not everyone will celebrate your light. Some will be threatened by it. Some will try to dim it. You might face criticism, judgment, even rejection. And in those moments, you must remember this: their reaction is not about you. It's about their own pain, their own fear, their own disconnection from God. Your job is not to fight them or prove yourself to them. Your job is to love them, even when it's hard. Ask yourself, can I love those who hurt me? Can I see the divine in those who deny it? Can I forgive, even when it feels impossible? This is the ultimate test of the chosen one. To love not just when it's easy, but when it's hard. To shine not just in the light, but in the darkness. To trust not just when you understand, but when you don't. And as you walk this path, you will find that the more you give, the more you receive. The more you surrender, the more you are guided. The more you trust, the more you are transformed. In the end, being a chosen one is not about being perfect. It's not about having all the answers or never making mistakes. It's about being willing. Willing to listen to God's messages, willing to follow His guidance, willing to grow, to serve, to love, even when it's hard. So I leave you with this question: if you truly believe that you were chosen, how would you live your life differently? What would you let go of? What would you embrace? And most importantly, are you ready to say yes to the calling that has been placed on your soul? Your journey is just beginning. Keep walking, keep trusting, and remember, you are never alone. You are guided. You are loved. You are chosen. When you finally embrace that you are a chosen one, there is no turning back. Your life becomes a living testament to God's presence, a reflection of His love, and a beacon of hope for others. But this final step, the step into fully embodying your role as a chosen one, is not about perfection. It's about authenticity. It's about surrendering to the truth of who you are and allowing yourself to be used as an instrument of divine will. You might wonder, what does it mean to live fully as a chosen one? It means stepping into every moment with intention. It means recognizing that your life is no longer just about you. It's about how you can serve, inspire, and bring light into the lives of others. But here's the paradox: the more you give, the more you are filled. God doesn't call you to live in lack or sacrifice your joy. He calls you to abundance and abundance and abundance of love, of wisdom, of purpose. Living as a chosen one is not about grand gestures or dramatic displays of faith. It's about the small, sacred acts of kindness that ripple outward in ways you can't see. It's about smiling at a stranger, offering a word of encouragement, or listening deeply when someone needs to be heard. It's about choosing love over fear, compassion over judgment, and faith over doubt. But make no mistake, this path comes with challenges. Being chosen means being tested. You will encounter resistance, both from the world and from within yourself. There will be moments when you doubt your purpose, when you question whether you're strong enough, wise enough, or brave enough to fulfill the calling on your life. And in those moments, you must remember this: God does not choose the equipped, He equips the chosen. Have you ever considered that every struggle you faced, every heartbreak, every setback was preparing you for this moment? Nothing in your life has been wasted. Every experience, no matter how painful, has shaped you into the person you are today. And it is through your wounds that God's light shines the brightest. To live fully as a chosen one means embracing your humanity. It means loving yourself, flaws and all, because it is through your imperfections that you connect with others. It means forgiving yourself for the times you've fallen short and trusting that God's grace is greater than your mistakes. And it means walking forward, even when the path is unclear, with the faith that you are guided every step of the way. So now I ask you one final question. Are you ready? Ready to step into the life God has prepared for you? Ready to let go of fear and doubt and trust in His plan? Ready to be a light in the world, even when it feels like the darkness is overwhelming? If the answer is yes, then know this: you are not alone. You are supported, guided, and loved beyond measure. You are God's messenger, His chosen one, and the world is waiting for the light only you can bring. Step forward and let your journey begin.